What is artistic creation? Maybe artistic creation was born out of some kind of necessity that we don't grasp. You know, after we come into other problems. But if we say
human creativity,
of course, but if we admit that the mind, whatever it is, goes beyond the capacity of the brain, because it actually touches something that goes beyond, like, simple intelligence, I will say.
Yeah.
So that will be the capacity of mathematics. If we admit that,
the brain is computable, but Turing's mind imagined uncomputability. So that's one example.
Don't take it to me because I was about to reach.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were about to say that. Right. And the spirit goes beyond the mind.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, according to that assumptions that we made, right? We are talking nowadays about AI, artificial intelligence, etc. But is there something as an artificial mind? Like, can we distinguish between artificial intelligence by artificial mind? People never used AM, artificial mind, I will say. But maybe artificial intelligence, we are talking about something else than the mind when we are talking about artificial intelligence.
Something lesser. Yes. Artificial mind would imply consciousness, right?
So for you, artificial mind is impossible. Artificial intelligence?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily? So could you elaborate a little bit like that, if you think it could be possible?
Well,
an artificial mind?
You know, so as Marvin Minsky used to say was it in the 60s, early 60s when I met him? No, late 60s. Anyway, he would say, we are a carbon-based life form that is creating a silicon-based life form to replace us. And that at the time was a provocation, but now some people are afraid this may actually happen. Well, this may be good. One point of view is that this is the next step in evolution, that we are creating a form of life and a form of mind that is
so it will be just a new
superior
birth.
To us.
It will be just a way to give birth. Because, of course, when a mother gives birth, she's giving birth to the next generation that maybe is more knowledgeable, more evolved or something. And so it will be a new way to give birth. It will be a new procreation. That's just what it was, what it will be in the history of the...
Do we want our children to be as stupid as we are, or should we be proud if we have a child that goes way beyond our abilities?
So you really think that a machine can be smart? No, I'm asking. I'm just. It's a real question. It's not.
Well, some people would say that we're meat machines. You know, I think was what Marvin Minsky used to say: a carbon-based life form versus silicon-based life form. You know, and you know, it's also possible that humans and machines will converge.
Yeah.
Instead of staying separate and diverging, that there will be some convergence where augmented humans, machines will become more biological, biological entities will become more machine.
It's what I call in my work the two processes. There was one process that is objectivation of subjectivity. So it is the cyborg tendency, because we are organic, biological beings, and we tend to implement ourselves to complement ourselves with machinery, like even implanted machinery. So transforming ourselves into using machines to actually augment ourselves, improve ourselves. And on the other side, we have the subjectivation of object. So object like Android, and this time it's Android. So we are making machines being more and more subjective, like an Android, actually, and so at one moment, maybe those two tendencies will merge into one other species that is neither machine nor human the way we understood what human are. We can say it's really human. If we give a definition of human, as Nietzsche will say, that human is the being that sees himself as incomplete and tend to go beyond himself, so beyond what is. So when we are talking about artificial natural, we can say that the nature of human is artificial. right from the start. It was to try to go beyond. So when people say, oh, when we are talking about transhumanism and the dreams of transhumanism, oh, it's unhuman. Oh, it's not unhuman. It's completely human. Right from the start, it was human. To go beyond.
Well, I love human creativity. Will artificial mind be able to be as creative as Cantor, for example, or as Euler, to mention another great mathematician? But, you know, I was reminded of our humanity the other day. I went to buy groceries at Marjan, and when I came out of the grocery store, 3 little boys about the age of my own son came to me and asked me for money. And I didn't have any small change, so I gave them a big bill. And the boys hugged me, they kissed me. I embraced them all. I was in tears. This was a very human moment. So when will the machines we create have this degree of humanity?
That's a question for you. So that again, we come back with these ideas like, if there is something infinite, I mean, if our mind can touch the infinite through mathematics on one side and through emotion on the other side, but in a way, as you said, because mathematics could be some kind of an artistic creation, and everybody knows you create out of emotion, so there will be the link between mathematics and emotion.
Mathematical creativity is very emotional.
So exactly.
It's not pure mind.
Exactly. So let's say that is infinity. So can these infinity be a simulation? Like, can it be simulate into a machine, into a robot? And there is a physicist, that is Frank Tripler. I don't know if you heard about him. He said that he distinguished, I don't know if only him distinguished that, maybe there are others, simulation and emulation. He said simulation, it's when you simulate, for instance, if I simulate Gregory Chaitin, so I make a film with you, and so it's not you, it's a certain number of information, so it's a simulation, but it's selected information, so it's not all the information. I just have your image. I don't have your substance in it.
I don't have my soul.
And I don't. It's just a number of dots that is on the screen, and even if it is an hologram, still it's not you, etc. But there is a moment. He says there is a moment where, because we are for him. I don't agree with that. I said right away because there are many contradictions that we can't, I think, overcome. But for him, the universe is made of information, like many people believe now. And so if I have all the information of Gregory Chaitin, I mean, all the information.
God forbid.
God forbid.
Yeah.
It's not a simulation anymore, it's an emulation. It's Gregory Chaitin. And so that will mean that if you put all the information, whatever that means, of the human mind in a computer,
create a new field of mathematics, would he be obsessed with Gödel's incompleteness theorem and devote his life to understanding it better? Listen, Raphaël, I think that one of the important aspects of infinity is that it's sublime, that it inspires us, that it challenges us, that it takes us out of our everyday life and the problems of everyday life, and reveals sort of another world. Maybe it's a world of imagination, but it shows human creativity at its best. It's not just great literature. The problem with great literature, as G.H. Hardy said in A Mathematician's Apology, is that languages die, you know. But he thought great mathematical ideas last forever. He said Greek mathematics will be remembered when Greek plays are forgotten. I don't know. I think Greek plays are pretty good. The ones I've seen were very human, very, very strong plays. But we need inspiration. We need things to challenge us. As Elon Musk said, you have to have a reason to wake up in the morning. His reason to wake up is he wants to get to Mars. And for a mathematician, the reason to wake up is some infinity that he's attached to, or some mathematical problem in the world of ideas that he may have invented himself, that doesn't present itself naturally. You have to have a reason to wake up in the morning.
I would not say the same thing.
And not just solve problems. You have to have something.
I will not say the same thing. I think you have to have, and on my view, you need to have a reason to stand and to walk and to do something once you have waken up, after you woke up. Every time you open your eyes, so you're already waking up, it's like, what am I going to do?
Well, you want to understand. You're a philosopher, right?
Yeah.
You want to ask the difficult questions, the ones that don't have easy answers.
Yes, exactly that. I've always worked on what looks like evident, obvious, and I've always been, since I was very young, a young child, I was obsessed with the obvious. I started to be like
questioning the obvious.
Yes,
you're the doubter.
For me,
why is this obvious?
Yeah, exactly. For me, the obvious is the opposite of obvious.
Right.
I mean, it looks
the more obvious it seems, the more questionable it is.
Exactly that. I saw a wall. Sorry, the wall is at a distance. But if it is at a distance, it means I'm separated from the wall. If I'm separated from the wall, what do I see from the wall? People think it's the wall, but it might not be the wall. At least it can be the entire wall. Otherwise, it will be in my eyes, but it will be too big to be in my eyes. So what is it that I see, etc.? It's just like things that looks obvious that are not obvious to me. But I think that there is something that makes a difference that can't be overcome between a human being and a machine. So I must say I disagree with you and some transhumanists, not all of them, because I'm very interested in transhumanism, and I take it seriously. Unlike many of my French compatriots, that I think there is something that we can't overcome, and it's related to infinity. Exactly.
Because the machines don't have a soul and they will never get one, they will never be conscious?
It's not exactly that, because I don't want to take part in this debate about soul, not soul, etc., etc. It is the fact that I believe in the paleoanthropological theory that is quite defended nowadays, that the idea of neoteny, so that human beings, they were born too early. So they are incomplete being. So, for instance, when a human being is born, unlike a horse, for instance, they are totally dependent on their mother, on the environment. So we were born not as predators, as we like to picture ourselves, but as the obvious victim, the obvious prey, the obvious, and so. But it made something quite original, and Darwin is referring to it in The Descent of Man, this famous book of Darwin, less famous than the other one, of course, that deals specifically with human beings. It created many things. It has many consequences, but one of these consequences, it creates a tissue, a network of solidarity that is the most complex we can find in living beings. So the solidarity that has usually typical mammals, it's just from the parents to the kids, transgenerational. But with human beings, because they are so weak, but it's not only that they are weak, they had this feeling that they are weak. So this feeling of incompleteness, so they felt weak, they felt fragile.